Clerk shall designate the bill.
H.R. 6306 to amend the State Department Basic Authorities Act of 1956 to prohibit the acquisition or lease of a consular or diplomatic
Without
post.
objection, first reading is dispensed with. The bill is considered read and open to amendment. At any point without objection, the Mills Amendment in the nature of a substitute number 73 circulated to members in advance shall be considered read and will be treated as original text for purposes of amendment. Is there any discussion on the bill? Mr. Mills is recognized.
Chairman McCall and Ranking Member Meeks, I'd like to thank you both for working with me to include my legislation, the Embassy Construction Integrity Act, in today's markup. Earlier this year, the committee was made aware of an instance in which the State Department established a diplomatic post in a building constructed by a Chinese company. As the State Department engages with partners in the Indo-Pacific, I think everyone on this committee recognizes the importance of ensuring the U.S. has a strong presence in these countries. However, there is an extremely limited set of circumstances in which a Chinese-owned company that this bill addresses. H.R. 6306 requires the Secretary of State to establish increased due diligence practices to ensure our contracting processes align with our national security interests of the United States. The State Department's monitoring of the beneficial owners of the companies that build our diplomatic posts is a very fundamental baseline that we need to establish. Because of the severe concerns with the integrity of sensitive facilities, such as diplomatic posts, this bill also requires the Department to notify Congress when inconsistent measures are discovered. The amendment to this bill, the ANS, integrates revisions based on discussions with committee staff and the State Department to ensure that this bill does not inadvertently undermine our nation's ability to continue operating diplomatic missions in the PRC. I urge all of my colleagues to support this straightforward legislation, and with that, I yield back.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Mr. Meeks is recognized.
This is 6306, right?
6306.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under President Biden's leadership, the Department of State is expanding the United States diplomatic footprint across the Indo-Pacific region, from the Solomon Islands to Tonga to Kiribati to Vanuatu, with diplomatic facilities open or in the works. This expansion is critical to effectively compete with China, as it enables the United States to provide a powerful counterpoint to the PRC's economic coercion and disinformation, and to deepen our relationships to safeguard a free and open Pacific. The Department also works every day to open, renew, or modernize its diplomatic facilities around the world to ensure our diplomats can engage safely and effectively, from re-raising the flag in Kyiv to support our partners there after Russia's brutal renewed invasion in 2022, to breaking new ground on facilities in Bangkok, Brasilia, and beyond. All in all, these efforts, the Department works to develop site-specific measures to mitigate security and counterintelligence risks. Such risks are not new. We've dealt with them for decades, from the Cold War to the global war on terror. So the Department has deep expertise in this area, not just last year. Congress has legislated bipartisan reforms to the Secure Embassy Construction and Counterterrorism Act to ensure it has sufficient flexibility to balance the need for bold, expediatory diplomacy and operational risks. On such matters as these, I always want to be sure that we are not placing unhelpful statutory requirements that undercut the Department's ability to maintain and open new facilities. And I'm glad that our colleagues across the aisle have offered an ANS that includes a more flexible regulatory formulation. And for that reason, I can support this ANS, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman yields back. Is there any further discussion on the bill? There will be no further discussion of the bill. The committee will move to consideration of amendments. Does any member wish to offer an amendment? There being no further amendments, I move that the committee report H.R. 6306, the Embassy Construction Integrity Act, as amended to the House with a favorable recommendation. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is agreed to. Mr. Mills is recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request a recorded vote.
A roll call vote has been requested pursuant to the chair's